Hello, I hope you are doing fine. Welcome, let us learn mathematics. And today we are going to learn about multiplication. This is grade 5. We are going to look at how to multiply decimals, that is multiplication of decimals. Now, given the following, the question is before us: multiply the following decimal numbers. The first number is 2.4 multiplied by 3. The second one will be 8.3 multiplied by 6.4. Then our last example will be 1.25 multiplied by 4.18. Now let us go through this lesson together. Now, given the following task before us, we have been asked to multiply the following decimals. Now, the place value chart will be very much important to us. As we had earlier on learned about the place value chart, we learned that the place value chart is a chart which helps us to place or to make us identify the place value of each digit or number. Now, taking into account the place value of each digit, the place value chart will help us to identify the number of decimal places a question is having. Let us go. Take 2.4 multiplied by 3. Now, let us take those numbers and insert them in the place value chart. Take the number 2.4, put it in the place value chart, start with the decimal point, then number 4 is written on the right hand side of the decimal of the place value chart. Then number 2 will get to the left side of the place value chart. So you will realize that digit 2 belongs to the 1's place value, while digit 4 belongs to the 10th place value, multiplied by number 3. Now, look at number 3. Number 3 is a number which does not have any decimal point in front of it or at its back. Now, number 3 will automatically belong to the whole number, so it is going to be written in the 1's place value. Now, let us look at these numbers inserted in the place value chart and check to find out how many numbers are on the decimal side. How many numbers are on the decimal side? The decimal side of the place value chart is on our right hand side, while the numbers on the left hand side of the place value chart are the whole numbers. Now, let us count together the numbers in the decimal side. 1. Number 4 is the only number on the decimal side in our place value chart. So, during our multiplication, our answer is going to have 1 decimal place. 1 decimal place. So, let us preserve that one here and say that during our multiplication, my answer will have 1 decimal place. 1 decimal place. Now let us take this question here and do a vertical multiplication. Now I have already preserved the number of decimal places in my question. So I am writing my work without a decimal point. Let us do the multiplication together. 3 times 4 is equals to 12. Write number 2 and carry 1. 3 multiplied by 2 is equal to 6 plus the one we carried will be 7. Therefore, 2.4 times 3 is equal to 72. Now, let us take into consideration that we were multiplying a number with a decimal point. How many decimal places was our question having? Our question had one decimal place only. So we are going to place one decimal point. So take your number and bring it back into the place value chart to only have a one decimal place. Therefore, take the decimal place, write number 2 and number 7. So my answer is going to have one decimal place. Number 2 is the number I am calling the one decimal place. One decimal place. How many places are in the decimal? Only one number is in the decimal side. That is why we call them one decimal place, but not one decimal point. Dear viewer, let us get to the second task. Our second task is 8.3 multiplied by 6.4. As we had done the first example, our first example, let us take these numbers and insert them in the place value chart. The first number, let's take 8.3. 8 will belong to the ones, while 3 will belong to the tenths. Take 6 and 4, 6.4. 6 will belong to the ones, while 4 will belong to the tenths. Now, as we did earlier on, we counted the number of numbers on the decimal side. How many numbers are on the decimal side? We can count on number 3 and number 4. Number 3 and number 4 are on the decimal side. So that one is giving us the number of decimal places. So I'll come and say my equation has got 2 decimal places. My equation has got 2 decimal places. So during my multiplication, I will remember to have 2 decimal places during my final answer. So let us check 8, 3, 6, and 4. Now you can see I am working this question without the decimal points. I have preserved them somewhere, that during my working the question, I will have to remember to bring back the decimal places. Let's take 4 times 3 is equals to 12. Write 2, carry 1. 4 times 8 is equal to 32 plus 1 is 33. 6 times 3 is 18. Write 8, carry 1. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 plus 1 is 49. Put together. Drop 2. 3 plus 8 is 11. Write 1, carry 1. 4 times 3 is 12. Write 2, carry 1. 4 times 8 is 32. Plus the one we carried is 33. Write 33. 6 times 3 is 18. You write 8. Carry 1. 8. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 1 is 49. 49. Let us put together. Drop 2. 8 plus 3 is 11. Write 1. Carry 1. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus the one we carried is 13. Carry 1. 1 plus 4 will be 5. Therefore, our answer 5 3, 1, 2. Remember to bring back the two decimal places. Now, when bringing back the decimal places, we count the number of decimal places from the right-hand side towards the left-hand side. You count on the number of decimal places from the right-hand side towards the left-hand side. So, the first decimal place will be number 2. Number 2 is our first decimal place. Then our second decimal place is number 1. So we have 1, 2. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. So these are the 2 decimal places. Now put your decimal point between 3 and 1. Therefore, our answer will be 53.12. Then the next last example is 1.25 times 4.18. Now let us see. Take the numbers as we did with the first ones, insert them in the place value chart. We have got decimal point, then we have number 1 decimal point, number 2, then number 5. The second one multiplied by, you have got number 4 decimal point, 1 and 8. Now, as we did with the 2 examples, let us count the number of numbers which are on the decimal side. How many numbers are on the decimal side? I can see number 2, 5, 1 and 8. Number 2, number 5, number 1 and number 8 belongs to the decimal side. Number 1 and number 4 belongs to the whole numbers on the left hand side of the place value chart. Therefore, let us count the total number of numbers on the decimal side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 decimal places. 4 decimal places. 4 decimal places. Now, I will take 1, 2, 5 without the decimal point and 4, 1, 8 without the decimal point, so that after multiplication I will bring back the decimal places. So let us multiply this number together. 8 times 5 is 40. Write 0, carry 4. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus the 4 we carried will be 20. Write 0, carry 2. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 will be 10. 1 times 5 is 5. Write that 5 right away under 0. 1 times 2 will be 2. Write that 2 under 0. 1 times 1 is 1. Write that 1 under 1. 4 times 5 is 20. Write that 0. We write 0. Write that 0 under 2. 4 times 2. Remember we carried 2 after writing 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Write 0, carry 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus the one we carried will be 5. Let us put together. Drop 0. Then 0 plus 5 plus nothing there will be 5. 0 plus 2 plus 0 will be 2. 1 plus 1 plus 0 will be 2. Then bring 5 down there. Now, don't forget that your answer should be having 4 decimal places. Now, as we did with this question here, we are going to count on the number of decimal places right away from the right hand side towards the left. Now, our answer here is 5, 2, 2, 5, and 0. Let us count the number of decimal places from the right hand side towards the left hand side. Now, our first decimal number will be number 0. The second one will be number 5. The third one will be number 2. The fourth one will be number 2. So, how many decimal places will my answer have? There will be 4 as shown. Number 0, number 5, number 2, and number 4 are going to belong to the decimal side. So, I am going to place my decimal point right away after the fourth decimal place. So my answer will be 5.2250. 5.2250. Now, what we are going to do with this answer here, you can see our answer is different from the two examples we did. The last number here is number 0. Now, dear viewer, remember to do away with 0 during decimal numbers. Do away with when 0 becomes the last digit. 0 is terminating the numbers. 0 is at the end. 0 becomes the last number during when you have put a decimal point. Remember to do away with it because it is valueless. 0 is valueless. 0 has no value when there is a decimal point and 0 becomes the last digit. So we are going to write our final answer as 5.225. So it is going to have 3 decimal points, not because there are 3, but there was 0 which was being counted as the first decimal place. So our answer is going to be that. Now, before I conclude, I would like you to do the following. Do the following questions. The first one, can you try to do this question here? And we shall see whether you have gone through the lesson successfully. These 3 simple questions are your work to do at home there. Now, I'm stopping at this particular point, hoping to see you next time. Have a good